Hi guys, this is Sandra of the Alexandrite system. I'm going to put a trigger warning up front in this video that we're going to get into very brief discussions on suicidal ideation and self-harm. Being the person in the system who is just finding out that they're a system comes with its own unique issues. The biggest one for me personally was challenging relationships with particular alters. I've talked about this before, but historically there have been three alters that I've had rocky relationships with. Claudia and I spent the first, I want to say, 6 months of knowing each other bickering nonstop. Susan and I had a very similar relationship where she would be, quote, needlessly contradictory to just whatever I said or did. And then Glow, who initially I got along with okay, but I started to resent her very quickly, initially because she identified as a man for a long time, and I didn't like that. And then basically because of her constant suicidality, which is not something I really talk about on this channel or on Twitter, but the main issue I have with Glow is that she is constantly reminding us that she wants to die. So I wanted to talk about how I've gone about repairing those relationships. Of course, these sorts of relationships aren't a one-way street because no relationship is, but I wanted to talk about the effort I've put forth in trying to repair them. And hopefully, if you guys have challenging relationships like this, maybe it'll help you as well. Because, I mean, that's been the whole goal with this channel. Like, I know one thing, and I can send that over to you. So with Claudia, it was a matter of respecting what Claudia does and learning how to communicate with her. I mentioned once in therapy how someone that we don't have a great relationship with, but we see pretty regularly, always seems a little bit scared to interact with us. And that's because they mostly deal with Claudia, and they mostly deal with Claudia when she's upset. And I told this to my therapist as a, like, isn't that ridiculous? Like, she's ruining my relationships with these people that I don't even like. And my therapist said, it sounds like Claudia is doing her job because she's making them think twice about how they interact with you. And that gave me pause. I guess I had never really considered that Claudia was trying to solve problems and not cause them. Another big hurdle was Claudia and I learning how to communicate with each other. Or I guess understanding how the other one communicates. The one real breakthrough moment that we had was that Claudia had a stressful moment and she thought about self-harming. And I was inside and I said, Claudia, don't. And she immediately snapped with, don't tell me what to do. And I told her, I'm not telling you what to do, I just know that you need somebody to tell you this isn't a good idea and you're going to be upset by it later. And I think until that moment, neither of us realized that we had this fundamental communication issue where neither of us really understood the motivations of what the other person was saying. And remedying that by saying, this is my intent of me saying this, was an amazingly helpful factor. Another factor was just me and Claudia complimenting each other. Not even directly to each other. Oftentimes when this sort of comes up, it'll be like to a third person I'll say like, Claudia does an amazing job protecting the system, and she'll say, Sandra does a really good job of managing who gets time out for therapy, and she's been doing a better job taking care of the body, things like that. And we've actually gotten to the point where we've started complimenting each other to each other's faces. When we got this done a few days ago, after the appointment, she said that I did a kick-ass job, like, taking the pain of the tattoo. Which, it was cool. It was cool that she said that, and I appreciate that. Similarly, my solution with Susan was listening to her. I guess it never occurred to me that the reason that Susan was being so vocally contradictory was that she wasn't being heard. And it took my therapist saying, like, she's doing it because you're not listening to her to really understand that. And so I started listening to her, and I started taking her opinion into account and letting her know, like, you matter in this system. And another thing that's helped is been getting invested into things that she enjoys and just showing interest in her interests. I mean, just last night at a time of recording, we went to a rowdy screening of Cats 2019, which she absolutely loves. We worked on a little costume of Victoria, and she went with the holiday sock system, and she had a ton of fun. And in an effort to make sure that she knows that her voice matters, we asked her specifically about this tattoo, like, are you okay with this? Because, I mean, we would only get it if, like, everyone was okay with it, but we wanted to ask her specifically so that she knew that she had a choice in it. And so I'm kind of making this video for myself, because I need to remind myself what I need to do to break through to glow. And to an extent, anyone else who comes up in the system and I have issues with. Because I know this isn't over, like, completely. But I feel as though every subsequent relationship in this system gets easier. If you have a challenging relationship with another person in your system, open yourself up to empathy. Because sometimes it can be hard to realize that you're not considering their point of view. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a nice day. Bye.